إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإن طائفتان من المؤمنين اقتتلوا فأصلحوا بينهما فإن بغت إحداهما على الأخرى فقاتلوا التي تبغي حتى تفيء إلى أمر الله فإن فاءت فأصلحوا بينهما بالعدل وأقسطوا إن الله يحب المقسطين. إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم واتقوا الله إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم واتقوا الله لعلكم ترحمون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. هيهات منا الذلة هيهات منا الذلة هيهات منا الذلة هيهات منا الذلة. لبيك يا حسين 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 لبيك يا حسين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وبه نستعين ونصلي ونسلم على سيد البشر سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين وأصحابه الأخيار. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن حسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. We thank Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us this great day for us to commemorate the martyrdom of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam. Yesterday we began our discussion on what we call conflict resolution, and under it we discussed in details what we call reconciliation. And we explained, for the purpose of those who couldn't take part yesterday, in a summary, when we say reconciliation, it means settling disputes, or whenever there is a conflict, how we bring about peace. And we mentioned 3 ways within which we will be able to bring about peace. Number 1, negotiation. Number 2, mediation. And then number 3, arbitration. Negotiation, the two conflicting parties found their own ways and means to settle their own disputes. Mediation, they employ a third person who come and help them settle the dispute. And then arbitration, the third person who come in to settle the dispute has the power to judge or put judgment after the settlement of the issue. We also mentioned the role of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and how he contributed to reconciliation. We spoke about the role of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam in the battle of Jamal, the battle of Hunain, and then Siffin, how he contributed in making sure that there is less casualties and there is peace after the conflict. We also mentioned the role of Imam Hassan alayhi salatu wasalam and how he contributed to conflict resolution and reconciliation. Today, our discussion is going to be based on the role of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam in conflict resolution. It is highly important that we discuss this particular topic on this particular platform to inform and educate all of us that one important issue in the Muslim community is that we always and usually we have misunderstandings, which sometimes comes as a result of family issues, friends, and even in companies. Sometimes you can be working in a particular institution or a company, you have issue with your boss. How do you reconcile and bring peace between the two of you? And that is the more reason why it is important for us to discuss this topic. And then how we can implement this one, because a lot of people are taking lessons from the tragedy of Imam Hussein. So it is also important for us to discuss some of these issues so that we learn lessons from it henceforth. Our discussion is mainly going to be based on this particular verse that I read. وَإِن طَائِفَتَانِ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ اقْتَتَلُوا فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَهُمَا. That if two believers are fighting, or they have disputes, or they have misunderstanding, we should try and find ways and means to bring peace between them. If there are issues, a burning issue, and usually in our communities, it is our imams and our chiefs, and sometimes the opinion leaders who are responsible for settling some of these issues. And our leaders go through a lot of problems handling people's issues. Sometimes you go and judge a case, and then the one who is wrong doesn't understand why he is being judged, to maybe apologize to the other party. And you, the leader who sat in to make sure that there is peace, the person will rather bring his problems on you, that you are the one who has humiliated him. So our leaders go through a lot in trying to make peace. A Muslim will be having a police case, a court case, and you as a leader, you cannot just sit. You have to follow up and bring the issue back home and settle it. So it is our duty to support our leaders. It is our duty to support our scholars. It is our duty to support our chiefs in our community, because we don't pay them. We have not given our imam monthly salaries, where he can be driving from place to place settling people's problems. If you read the history of Nabi Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam, he was settling people's issues hatta min bayn al-haywanat, even between animals. When animals have issues and he is around, he will be there to settle their differences. Till in the part of the Quran, some of the animals felt that his coming will infringe upon their rights. So they were discussing among themselves, thinking that he would not hear them. But he heard them. So he was settling almost every issue. And so our imams, our leaders, our scholars, we must try our possible best to support them, so that they will be also able to help us settle our own issues in our homes. Because if everyone has a problem, the first person he will contact is his imam or his chief. And sometimes you have to waste your time that you have to attend to your own family, you'll be attending to other families. Sometimes the time you have to settle your own issues, sometimes you'll be hungry. But you have to leave your hunger and be settling another person's problem. So if believers have problems, or they have disputes, or they have challenges, or misunderstanding, Quran says, we should try and bring a resolution, a reconciliation between the two parties. فَإِنْ بَغَتْ إِحْدَاهُمَا, if one of them decides that for me, I will not agree, there's a problem, it has been reported to your imam, it has been reported to your chief, and the chief has intervened. He wants to bring about peace. And one party is saying that for me, I will never agree for peace to reign. Let's say your car has been knocked down. I remember when Alhaji Sule, who is a lecturer at the University of Ghana, he told me that he was once driving and his car knocked another person's car. And got down. Insult from head to toe. He told him that, please, let me repair your car for you. How much will it cost? I even have a mechanic. Let me take it to him so that he help repair it. The person said, no, I'm taking you to the police station. They did everything the person was not trying to understand. So he took the lecturer to the police station. Fortunately or unfortunately, when they got to the police station, the police commander was saluting the lecturer. He told him that, sir, what are you doing here? He has been his lecturer before in the University of Ghana. So when he saw him, he asked, sir, what are you doing here? He said, this person has reported me because I knocked his car. I was ready to fix it, but he said he wouldn't allow. We did everything. He said he wouldn't agree. So they wrote his statement, invited him to the office for interrogation. When he came out, he came to kneel in front of the lecturer and begged the lecturer to forgive him. Why? Because his papers were outdated. And the police commander said, if your papers are outdated, it means you don't even have the right to even drive on the road. And so, we are going to take your car, you go and get all these papers, and then we take you to court, and then you pay all the penalties. Now, the person whom he was going to arrest, he's now going to be the one who is to intervene for him and beg the police commander on his behalf. Imagine. So in some situations, you get a problem, you want to solve it, but the one who is at the other part of the case, he said, for me, I will not agree today, I will not agree tomorrow. Some people can even go to the extent of saying that even if my father comes from the grave to tell me to stop, I would not stop. There are people who even tell you that even if God comes from heaven to tell me to stop, I will not stop. And the person still calls himself a Muslim. And he has forgotten that the word Islam stands for peace. And you cannot achieve peace when you don't support reconciliation. So the Quran says, either if one of the other parts says, for me, I will not agree for you to reconcile and bring peace, what do? فَقَاتِلُوا الَّتِي تَبِغِي حَتَّى تَفِيءَ إِلَىٰ أَمْرِ اللَّهِ. The one who says, I will not agree for peace to reign, the whole community should fight that person. You say your car has spoiled, let us pay, you say no. Let us repair, you say no. Let us do this. It's like all avenues possible to bring about peace. You say you not agree. So what do? The whole community should fight you because you don't want peace. You just want trouble. It is like you set a trap for somebody to step in. Just want an opportunity to deal with the person. That's all. So looking at the history of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, when Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam wanted peace, what did he do? He was in Kufa when his father fought with Muawiyah. He was in Kufa when his father fought with the people of Nahran, that is the Harijites. He was there when the father fought with Sayyidah Aisha and Talha and Zubayr. He has experience over all this. So when he realized that people have turned their back on his father, he and his brother left Kufa and went to stay in Medina. They were in Medina, and then Imam Hassan passed on, being poisoned. And after he was poisoned, people were telling him that let us mobilize ourselves and then march towards Sham, that is Damascus, and then we go and fight with Muawiyah and his people, so that the battle your father started, we are going to end it. He said, no, I respect my brother Hassan. My brother Hassan drafted a peace agreement with Muawiyah, so I don't want to go beyond that treaty. So he was very patient. Fortunately, or unfortunately, when Muawiyah was about to pass on, instead of giving the leadership mantle to Imam Hussein, which will have ended all the bloodshed in Islam, he rather gave it to his son Yazid, la'anatullahi alayhi. He gave the battle of leadership to his son. And when he gave it to his son, the first thing he did was sending a message to the leader of Medina, informing him that he should invite Imam Hussein and force Imam Hussein to pledge allegiance to him, or he should come to him with the head of Imam Hussein. Imam Hussein, as a man of peace, he told him that for me, Mithli la yubayi'u Yazid. Somebody like me cannot pledge allegiance to Yazid. Why? Because Yazid was alcoholic. Yazid has all forms of immoral acts, which he doesn't hide them. He does them openly. So if he is to endorse Yazid, he has in a way endorsed his immoral acts. And today, like others are saying that Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam was silent, he was quiet at the time of Abu Bakr, Umar and Uthman, that means he has what? Surrender. He has agreed that they should rule. It would have been the same story if he had what? Given bay'ah to Yazid. People have said that he gave Yazid the bay'ah so that Yazid could continue to mislead the Muslim community. But he said, Mithli, somebody like me cannot in any way give bay'ah to Yazid. When he realized that the tension in Medina was getting intense, he left Medina and moved to Mecca. He should have mobilized, at least for the leader of Medina, he could have been able to deal with him. But he said, no, I don't want problem. He left. When he left to Mecca, he was there for about 3 months. It was time for Hajj. When he started the Hajj activities, he saw some individuals who have also come for Hajj, and he could sense that these people are after his life. And he knows that Kaaba is a holy place that nobody should spill blood. So the next decision is, they've killed my father, they've killed my brother, and they are after my life. What should I do? In that same instance, there were letters upon letters coming from Kufa that, Imam Hussein, we want you to come and lead us, because we were not happy with the peace treaty Imam Hassan drafted with Muawiyah. But we couldn't say anything. But now that he's no more, come and join hands with us, so that we will all form a very big battle, a very big army, so that we can fight Muawiyah and his people, because we are tired of the rulership of the Bani Umayyah. So upon receiving these letters, he had to confirm whether what they are saying is actually the truth. So he sent his nephew Muslim bin Aqil to go and verify. And when Muslim got there, the whole people, especially the leaders, they all gave their support to Imam Hussein. And when they gave their bay'ah, nobody knew how a message was sent to Yazid that the whole people of Kufa are now in support of Imam Hussein. So he quickly changed the leadership of Kufa by replacing the leadership of Kufa with the leader of Basra, Ubaydullah bin. So when he changed the leadership, now the leadership was there purposely to do what? To fight for the interests of Yazid. So when Ubaidullah bin Ziyad got there, his most interest is to make sure that he looked for Muslim bin Aqil, the companions of Muslim bin Aqil, and anybody who supported Imam, and then deal with them. Those whom he cannot attach them, he had to bribe them. Some of them were even promised that if you give your support to Yazid, we will arrange for you to meet with other ladies and have fun with them for free. And people turn away from Imam Hussein just for worldly affairs. They turn their back on Imam Hussein just for worldly affairs. Some with money, some with enticement, some with just convincing them. Today, how many of us have turned our back on our leaders? How many of us have turned our back on our leaders? We are here. We know our national chief imam. May Allah continue to guide him and then increase him in health and age. He will be doing certain things which we will not be able to approach him and ask him why. But we will sit in our homes and condemn him. Maybe if you had approached him, you would have understood why he's doing what he's doing. I always say that if Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was selected and other people were selected in Mecca, that they should vote and choose one of them to be the Prophet of Allah, they wouldn't have voted for Prophet Muhammad. Will they? No, never. So definitely, after he has been given that mantle, there is still going to be an opposition because nobody will like him. Not everybody will like him. So our leader, especially in our Tamale community, we have so many leaders. And among the Shia fraternity, we have our spiritual leader, Sheikh Dalhu Abdul Mumin. What we had to do is to all come together, rally behind him, learn from him. Because experience, they say, is the best teacher. You learn from how he started and how the community has grown till today. So that tomorrow, definitely we don't pray he dies today or tomorrow. But just as this world is a passing by, one day he will leave this world. If he leaves the world before us, and we don't have any experience or any knowledge about how he was controlling the community, what are we going to do? The community what? Will turn upside down. I'm very sure that we have a lot of our brothers who are out there, who have gone to the Hausa to study and all of that. If they should have all come on board and support our leader, tomorrow if you also become a leader, you get people to do what? To support you. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So the people of Kufa, they turned their back on their leader, on Imam Hussein. And when that happened, Imam Hussein was not aware that the situation has changed in Kufa. So what did he do? He marched towards Kufa. He shortened his activities and then marched towards Kufa. When he shortened his activities in Mecca, that is for the Hajj activity, shortened it and made it Umrah, he decided to rather move to Kufa so that he go and establish a community over there. It was one of the experiences he learned from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Before Prophet Muhammad was able to build a nation, he had the people of Medina as a community, supported him, instituted a whole community where he has ministers, he has an army, he has the police, he had the court, he had everything before he was able to move to Mecca and then conquer Mecca. So Imam Hussein wanted a place where he would get the backing, the support of the community before he would be able to face the rest of the enemies. So when he moved, or before he moved, a lot of people advised him that, yeah, Imam, please, for us, we don't see any benefit of your moving from Mecca. Meanwhile, the people who were in Mecca were after his life. You can move to Yemen, you can move to so many places. A lot of people gave their suggestions. But what did Imam Hussein say? He gave a very powerful speech. And that speech, he mentioned that Lam Ahruj, I'm not leaving this place just because of worldly affairs. I'm not leaving this community or going out of this community just because I want to satisfy my own sexual pleasure or my own worldly desires. Lam akhruj ashran wala batran wala mufsidan wala zaliman wa innama kharajtu li talab al-islam fi ummati jaddi. I'm going out purposely to make sure that I bring about Islam, sulh, reconciliation, betterment of the religion of my father, my grandfather, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Remember that we are discussing what we call reconciliation, and that is sulh. And here he says, li islahi ummati jaddi. I'm going out purposely because I want to bring about Islam. And Islam, we've defined that Islam is bringing an end to a confusion, a disagreement, or a problem. So one will ask, what are some of the problems that Imam Hussein was going out to resolve? One of the problems was that there is something called Wilayat al-Faqih. That is the Islamic leadership adopted by the Iranians today. Prophet Muhammad at his time, he was playing the role of a political leader and then a spiritual leader. He was the president and he was the mufti at the time. So anything that has to do with politics, he was there. Anything that has to do with religion, he was there. So he alone played that dual role. After the demise of Prophet Muhammad, those who successively inherited the Muslim community, they were not having the knowledge as compared to Prophet Muhammad and Imam Ali. So they were only playing the role of political leaders. But when it comes to the religion, they rely on who? On Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, just as we discussed yesterday. So Imam Ali was the spiritual leader, but the other Khulafa, they were the political leaders. When Imam Ali took the position, he combined the political leadership and then the religious leadership. And after him, Muawiyah, Yazid, whatever, Ma'mum and all those who came, they were only political leaders. And if you give a car to a carpenter to drive, or you give a roofing to a driver, what will happen? There's going to be confusion. So if you are going to give the community to somebody who doesn't have knowledge on Islamic doctrines, for him to lead the Muslim community, what will happen? It means the religion, there's going to be a lot of what? Problems. Because some of the leaders who took the Muslim community bent some of the hadiths, which is narrated clearly by Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, that he bent some of the hadiths of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, thinking that it will conflict with what? With the Quran. So most of our narrations became oral narration. I heard that, I heard that, I heard that, I heard that. So because people were narrating what Prophet Muhammad did in different ways, there is the need for us to put all this information down, just as the Prophet did. And that is why Imam Malik, Imam Hanbal, Imam Hanafi, and Imam Abu Hanifa, they all tried their best to put it into writing so that we will have a structured way of prayers, a structured way of fasting, a structured way of... Meanwhile, in the presence of an imam, it is not allowed to be doing ijtihad. When there is an imam, al-ma'asum, who has all the answers to whatever will happen in Islam, there is no way for what? For ijtihad. So it was wrong in the first place for them to be making the ijtihad when there is an imam to be consulted. But because they were doing it, some of them didn't even actually wanted to do it, but they were pushed by the political leaders. They will appoint them as chief justice and instill on them that they should make laws for the community. And that is why you find somebody say, put your hand here, another person will say, put it here, another person will say, put it here, another person will say, put it under your... You will see this confusion. And everybody is trying to justify what he's doing. But when it comes to the jurisprudence of Imam Jafar Sadiq, they will say, no, that one there, we don't know it. Meanwhile, all these Imams, they've gone to Imam Jafar to learn from him. So when wrong leaders take positions, what happens is that they create confusion. So their religion, there will be a lot of problems. That is why when Quran says, those of you who are believers, if you rise up for prayer, wash your faces, وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ, and your hands to your elbow, وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ وَأَرْجُلَكُمْ إِلَى الْكَعْبَيْنِ. Wash your faces and your hands to your elbow, wipe your head and your feet to your ankles. And they say no. وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ وَاغْسِلُوا. So the waksilu, if you read all the English translations belonging to that group, they put wash in a bracket. If you have observed, they will put wash in a bracket to tell you that wash is not part of the verse. But we want you to wash, whether you like it or not. We want you to wash. That's the confusion. And you know that when your ablution is battle, your salat is what? It's battle. If your ablution is not correct, your salat is not correct. So it will be very sad for somebody to pray 50 years of his life and it will become haba'an manthura. You die and Allah says that no, you didn't pray. Ma salakakum fi sakar. Why are you in hellfire? Hellfire. You say lam nakum minal musallin. We are not part of those who are praying. And then you cannot lie. And that's so that maybe, so therefore, assuming therefore, suppose maybe, for instance, that lies is one day. So it is very clear that you should wipe. They say no, you wash. But when the hadith say wipe your socks, they say no, that one there you will do it. The hadith say wipe. That the same wipe that was in the Quran that they say for that one they will wash. The same word wipe has been used to be wiping on your hoof, your socks. That one they say, oh, that one there is wipe. That one is wipe. So we will wipe our socks, but our physical legs, we will wash it. And somebody will tell you that even the wiping is inside the washing. How can this be possible? When it comes to the combination of salat, a lot of Muslims have stopped the salat or Islam just because of salat. A lot of people have stopped. Me, I have a brother who stopped Islam for 2 years. Just because of how difficult it was for him to be praying regularly. And he went to the mosque and one day the Imam was explaining and saying that Tariqus Salat, if you do Tariqus Salat or you are involved in Tariqus Salat, you are even the one who doesn't pray is better than you. A Muslim shouldn't even say salam to you because you are a Tariqus Salat. And they don't know the meaning of tariq and ta'khir. There is a difference between tariq salat and ta'khiri salat. Ta'khir, you are late, like you delay the prayer. Even if it's morning, afternoon, evening, you are putting them together to pray in the night. You have delayed the time and you are not praying. It's ta'khir salat. Tariq salat is somebody who has left the salat. And they are in categories. There are those who pray every morning, apart from the morning prayer, they don't pray again. It means Zuhur and Asr and Maghrib and Isha, Taraka, he has stopped praying. So that person falls into Tariku Salat. There are people who only pray on Jum'ah. He will wear his best clothes and come to Jum'ah. But apart from Jum'ah, like you go to his house and his kettle is full of spider webs. That person has stopped the whole week Salat, but he's praying on Jum'ah day. And there are people who pray on Eid day alone. You never see him praying. But during Eid, he will dress and come and pray. After that one, that's all for him. There are those who only pray in Ramadan. When Ramadan goes, the God who is accepting Salat travels along with the Salat. So that's all for him. And there are those who only pray during occasions. When we meet for an occasion, he will be the first to take the butter, the kettle. But when he is alone in his house, he doesn't pray. That person is what? It's a tariqus salat. He has left the salat, but he will never pray it again. But in salat, we have ada'an and kada'a. Ada, you pray on time. Kada'a, you pray when the salat, the time has passed and you are not paying the debts. But they'll tell you that no. You cannot pray Zuhur and Asr together. If you do that, you have done tariqus salat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. We read this hadith, and the hadith says, An Ibn Abbas, Qala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Salla zuhra wal asra jami'an bil Madina fi ghairi khawfin wala safarin. Faqala Abu Zubayr, فسألت سعيد لما فعل ذلك؟ قال سألت ابن عباس كما سألتني فقال أراد أن لا يخرج أحدا من أمته. He says the Prophet prayed Zuhur and Maghrib, Asr together in Medina. And then, بغير خوف, there was no fear, like nobody was attacking them. They were not afraid. That is why they prayed it together. Number two, wala safarin. He was not in a journey. He was not traveling to anywhere. But he combined Zuhur and Asr. Wala matarin. It wasn't raining. Like some of our brothers would do when it is raining, they will combine. But after that, they will not combine again. When they go to Mina during Hajj, they will combine. But apart from that, they will not combine again. And then the narrator said, Lima fa'ala dhalik. Why did the Prophet do that? فَقَالَ سَعَوْتُ Ibn Abbas. I also asked Ibn Abbas, just as you are asking me. And then Ibn Abbas told me that أَرَادَ أَنْ لَا يَخْرُجَ أَحَدًا مِنْ أُمَّتِهِ. He doesn't want anybody to leave Islam. The reason why I'm combining Zuhur and Asr is because I don't want anybody to what? To leave Islam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. But today you've made it so difficult on people that even in the month of Ramadan, you want to use 2 hours to stand on your feet and expecting the old man to be by you. How possible? So you hear the noise, you go and only 3 people. You go and see him, he's reciting, he's getting it wrong, they'll correct him, getting it wrong, he will not stop, he still wants to do it. It's as if somebody says, if you don't do it, I'll beat you. How can you please Allah and you are suffering? You go and somebody is lying asleep. When they go for ruku, Ismail, let's pray. He will join the prayer. After the sujood, when they have to stand, he will sleep again. What kind of salat is that? Somebody will pray around rakah, go and urinate and come and pray the other rakah. How? Somebody will be WhatsApping, chatting. When they go for Allah, then he will leave the WhatsApp and do it. When he finish, he take his phone and do WhatsApp again. What kind of salat is this? That is why Prophet Muhammad said in the hadith that إِذَا قَامَ أَحَدُكُمْ لِلنَّاسِ فَلْيُحَفِّفْ الصَّلَاةِ فَإِنَّ فِيهِمْ كَبِيرٌ وَفِيهِمْ ضَعِيفٌ وَإِذَا قَامَ وَحْدَهُ فَلْيُطِلْ صَلَاتَهُ مَا شَاءَ. The Prophet said, if you are leading people in prayer, not that there are elders, there are sick people, and there are people who are weak among the Jama'ah. But if you are praying alone, then you can extend your prayer as far as you want. If you can pray the whole, you can use 3 hours to recite Baqarah and finish before you go to Ruku. It's up to you. But to compel people to stand behind you, and they are no more thinking about the salat, because Allah says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Those who, when they are praying, they have full concentration in the salat. And somebody is in the salat, and He wants you to go to Ruku and you are not going. And he's angry with you. And he's standing behind you. Say, this Imam, when I get him. So they force people. And they are destroying the religion. So sometimes, if you are you cannot even pray again and you leave the salat. So when you put a wrong leader to manage the affairs of the Muslim Ummah, definitely these are some of the things that will happen. And this is what Imam Hussein said, Li-Islahi Ummata Jadi, so that I may bring good training and good reconciliation in my grandfather's religion. Now, I had a friend who told me that during this Asham, the Imam delayed, and then people were angry. So when the Imam came, the other mosque had already prayed the Isha, and they started with the Asham, and they want to finish and go and eat, but the Imam had delayed. He had now come. So everybody was angry. Imam, why have you delayed? You know the salat is too long. Why have you delayed? The Imam said, don't worry, for these people, we will overtake them right now. So they started the salat. Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. Salaam alaikum, salaam alaikum. Didn't I tell you? The people haven't finished. Haven't we finished? So what kind of salat is this? And Allah has always been saying that Inna Allah la yuridu bikumul usr, walakin yuridu bikumul yusr. He wants ease for you. He doesn't want difficulty for you. That is why when you are traveling, he says, shorten it, just pray 2-2. He says, if you don't find water, use sand, just wipe your face and your hand. That's all. Allah wants ease for us. But we say, no, we want difficulty for ourselves. And not only for ourselves, we want to put pressure on the Ummah. And the reason why we are discussing this particular topic is because Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam already warned us. Before he was about to pass away, he requested that we bring him paper and pen so that he writes something for us. And Umar said, no. Kafana kitab Allah. The Quran is enough for us. Let us analyze this statement. The Quran is enough for us. Now Quran say wipe. You say no. I want hadith. So you pick and choose what is, then you follow. Do you know why? Because Prophet Muhammad had already made this particular wasiyah, that is his will. He had already mentioned it at Gadir. When you read Sahih Muslim, hadith number 5220, Prophet Muhammad said, Inni tariku fikum sakalain, ma in tamassabtum bi lan tadullu min ba'di abada. Kitab Allah wa itrati Ahlulbayt. Even in Sahih Muslim, he repeated Uzakirukumullah fi Ahlulbayt 3 times. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So when Prophet Muhammad has already made this statement and he's about to go, he says you will not go astray. If you follow the book of Allah and the Ahlulbayt, you will not go astray. Look at the 2 statements. The book of Allah, the Ahlulbayt, you will not go astray. Now he's on the sick bed. And he's saying, bring a book and paper. I'm going to write something for you that you will not go astray. The same go astray he mentioned some time ago. You want to repeat it again, eh? It's okay, don't worry. The book of Allah is enough. He repeated that same word. So the moment that word came out of the Prophet's mouth, they said, he had ever said this. And this is what he actually added. So now if he's going to put it into writing, it is going to be binding on us and everybody is going to be witness. So they created confusion and Prophet Muhammad wanted peace, so he drove them out of the room. Quite unfortunate. And it has been a program of Almighty Allah. In my hometown language, they say that baby I was awarded to know someone found to her a free talk. Where you supposed to place something, if you don't put it there and put it at another place, it will fall down. Even if you hide it for 1,000 years, it will still come out one day. As the Prophet has already mentioned, I'm behind 12 caliphs, and all the caliphs will come from Quraysh. Today, if you mention it, some people will tell you that we only know 4. Who is hiding the remaining 8? And if you go into the books, almost all the Sunni scholars are mentioning different kind of 8 people. Meanwhile, the Prophet didn't hide anything from us. So Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam, he said, لِإِصْلَاهِ أُمَّةَ جَدِّي. One of it is economic empowerment. When Prophet Muhammad was there was something we call Bayt al-Mal. The Muslims had an account, or let me say today we will say bank account, where the Muslims contribute money into it. And that money is used to help the less privileged in the community. Do we have it in this town? The whole Ghana, do we have it? In the whole of Africa, do we have it? We don't. Because some people took the leadership position and they diverted what Prophet Muhammad was actually doing at his time. So today, you go to the people of the other faiths, the Christians, they have scholarship schemes. They take people for further studies. They do this for them. They start a business. They do all that for their people. But it is quite unfortunate that when Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam wanted to preserve the traditions of the noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, they said, no, you don't deserve to live. Because that money is supposed to come to our pockets. So even when Muawiyah was there, he was receiving all the monies of the Muslims and he wasn't accounting for anybody. When he had a peace treaty with Imam Hassan, he told Imam Hassan that the money that I'm receiving, I'm no more going to account on that money to anybody. Now, when it's come to leadership, the whole Muslims, at least we should have had one leader. Today, we should have had one leader for the whole Muslim world. But today, if you hear of any Muslim leader, he's either belonging to one group or the other. So our leadership struggle, our leadership system was destroyed. Because when it is done the way the Prophet wanted it, how Imam Hussein wanted it, it is going to destroy their interest and they are no more going to get anything to enjoy. So you go to Saudi Arabia today, they have the kingdom, that's their structure. And under the kingdom, they have the scholars. And so the scholars are operating under the leadership of what? Kingdom. So as a scholar, you don't have the right to say anything or do anything unless it has been approved by what? By the kingdom.
Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Labbaik ya Hussein.
Labbaik ya Hussein.
Labbaik ya
Labbaik ya Hussein.
Labbaik ya Hussein.
Labbaik ya Hussein.
Unlike Iran, we have the president, but the president is working under of the spiritual leader. The spiritual leader is in charge of the military forces. He's the commander of the armed forces, and he has a particular percentage of resources coming into his accounts for the development of Islam. That is why we have Islamic University College of Ghana. That is why we have Iran Clinic in Ghana. That is why we have the Ahlulbayt in Ghana. That is the Hawzatul Ilmiya the school that is in Accra where I attended. And they are doing a lot from this system. But unfortunately, when it comes to the other part of the Muslim community, they are not ready to accept this particular leadership. So when Imam Hussein gave that message and he was leaving Mecca to Kufa and he got to Karbala, Ibn Ziyad has sent an army to come and block Imam Hussein's path. Now, Yazid was communicating to him, he was communicating to the army, that now, you have to force Imam Hussein to pledge allegiance to me. But how can we make him pledge allegiance to me? Let us put pressure on him. Let us suffocate him. Let us keep water away, so that out of thirst and hunger and starvation, he will be forced to do what? To pledge allegiance. And Labbaika ya Hussein, Labbaika ya Hussein, Labbaika ya Hussein, Labbaika ya Hussein. That is what is actually happening today in this world. The world has adopted capitalism, socialism, and all that without accepting the Islamic principles of leadership. Today, people are now beginning to study Islamic banking and finance. Because in the capitalist states, when you go for a loan to buy this laptop, or you go for a loan to establish a business, they are going to take interest from the amount of money they gave you. So if they gave you 5,000 to start a business, they are going to do the calculation of their interest on the 5,000 they have given you to start the business. So whether you run at loss or you benefit, you are going to pay. But in the Islamic system of banking, if they give you 2,000 or 5,000 to start a business, they will make sure that you document or write what you are going to use the money for. If it is for selling tomatoes or selling okra, they are going to calculate how much are you going to earn from the okra. So when they make all this calculation and assumption, they strike an average that at least every day you should be able to get this amount of profit. And if this is the amount of profit you are going to get, you divide the profit and then you give us this percentage and you take this percentage. So in the Islamic system of banking, taxing, what do you call? When you are going to take interest, the interest is on the profit and not on the capital. That is how they do car business. When you buy a car, you share the money that comes from the car business. You, the car owner, you take this percentage, the driver takes this percentage. So in Islamic banking, if you go and they give you 50,000 to start a business, if you are going to sell maybe mobile phones, you are going to sell maybe computers and other things, they know that in the country, if somebody is going to sell a computer, he is possibly going to earn about 2,000 or 3,000 within a week. And this 3,000 profits, you take 2,000 because you are the one on field. We who gave you the money, we are going to take 1,000 out of the money. So we share the profits. We don't share, we don't charge you on the what? On the capital that we've given you. So somebody can go for a loan, start a business, and then the business will collapse and he has to go to court or the prison. This is how the capitalists and the socialists introduce their businesses to rights. Meanwhile, Islam is preaching on how we can have a better monetary system where people will be free to start business and make better lives. So you go on all the banks, everybody is willing to give you loan just because they know that before you finish paying the loan, they have gotten about 2 times the money they gave you. Before you pay the loan, sometimes they give you 2 years. By the time you calculate the amount of money you pay every day, you realize that you have paid about 2 or 3 times the amount of money they loan to you. And that is how they are making their money. And because they are making that money, they will not give you the chance to do what? To introduce Islamic system of banking. So in economics, where the Muslim community will have all these systems in place, where a Muslim will never be on this planet and be suffering, it has become difficult because of how Imam Hussein was prevented from establishing this community. So when Imam Hussein got there, they said, let us squeeze him. Let us brutalize him so that we get something out of him. For him to do what? To surrender. Today you may be going through a lot of problems, a lot of situations that is squeezing you to leave Allah, to leave Ahlulbayt. I am very sure that Sheikh Dalu has gone through a lot. Sometimes it has to even be an exchange of words, exchange of blows and bullets, just because you want to stand on the path of Ahlulbayt. You've not insulted anybody, you've not stolen from anybody, you've not beaten anybody, you've not done anything to anybody. Just to say, Ashhadu anna aliyan waliyu, like just that one. Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Ali. Meanwhile, the Quran says, Wala tafarraku. And this particular tafarruq, people have interpreted it. There's difference between tafarruq and ikhtilaf. When we say wala tafarraku, it means don't bring separation where this side and this side, they don't agree or do anything in common. That is tafarruq. That is why Imam Ali is called Farouk, and that title has been given to somebody else. He is the one who separates righteousness from what? From evil doing. He's between right and wrong. Kasimul Jannah wan nar. So when it says wala tafarraku, it means you should live together. But make sure that at a point in time, there wouldn't be a time that a Muslim will see a Muslim and he will not talk to him. وَلَا تَقُولِ لِمَنْ أَلْقَى إِلَيْكَ السَّلَامَ لَسْتَ مُؤْمِنًا. Anybody who will say salam to you, never say he's a disbeliever. But they will tell you that kafir, kashiga wuta, as if his father built the hellfire and gave him one key, that he decide who will enter and who will not enter. You will see somebody seriously defending that Prophet's parents are in hell. And he is trying to bring every verses and chapters and hadiths from all corners just to prove, as if after you get food to eat. One man in the mosque, and he was saying that anybody who memorizes the Quran, one of the benefits of memorizing the Quran is that on the day of judgment, Allah will give you the permission to take 10 people to Jannah. So it is highly important for people to memorize the Quran. Everybody clapped for him. And one Malam stood up and asked him, you said anybody who memorizes the Quran on the day of judgment, Allah will give him the permission to take 10 people to Jannah. So you want to tell me that Prophet Muhammad's parents, whom you have already said they are in hell, is it that Prophet Muhammad hasn't memorized the Quran? Or he doesn't like his parents, that is why when he's given even that 10 opportunity, he cannot take his parents to Jannah? That one there. He started fumbling. He said parents of the prophets are in hell. Another time, anybody who memorized the Quran will be given permission to take 10 people to Jannah. And yet, he doesn't want to accept the fact that on that day, would rather take people to Jannah, including people he has not even seen in his life before. Not to talk of his mother and father. So if somebody tells you that Prophet Muhammad's parents are in hell, and they tell you you are also, you should be happy. Because the one who brought the religion for him to even enjoy and go to heaven, he's putting his parents in hell. What about you who is also like him? It's quite unfortunate. So our Muslims, we should always try to speak the truth and stand by Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wasalam and what he actually. If we all agree that this is what Imam Hussein stood for, and we are all going to work towards it, it's going to turn the fortune of Islam upside down. Today the Christians, they have the schools, they have the hospitals, they have almost everything. They say they are going to shut down their hospitals. We will not get anywhere to go. I remember I visited Brother Nash some time ago, and he told me that a woman who is a nurse came to him to tell him that he should give him one room, so that when a Muslim is coming to deliver, he will use that room to deliver the Muslim woman. And he asked why. He says when our Muslim women go there to deliver in the hospital, the young nurses will be using phone to take their private parts. And you will be there condemning his religion. When you are sick, you enter there, he should heal you. They have everything. There are transport stations all over the country belonging to the non-Muslims. It is time for we the Muslims to do what? To unite, come together, think positive, and help one another. So that Muhammad and the Ahlulbayt stood for. We all come together. Some people don't want to even hear the word Ahlulbayt. They don't want to hear the word Imam Hassan. So I was invited to a program. And the leader of the program, the one who is stay with me on the program, he said he will not attend the program. He didn't come. Another program was organized between me and his wife. His wife also didn't attend. So I asked one of my brothers who has been part of the organizers, that why is it that this man didn't come for the program? His wife also didn't come for this other program. He said, this person has established a school, and the name of the school is Fatima Farida. And because of the name Fatima Farida, the man is a Shia, and the school is a Shia school. And imams were on mimbars and on pulpits condemning the school. So students stopped going to the school. People stopped sending their children to Fatima Farida. And the man, that is Mr. Nasser, right? Owner of Paragon Foundation. He had to come and swear with the Quran that he's not a Shia. Meanwhile, after the swearing, people started going. We have schools in Kumasi called Osmania. It's a secondary school. The school is full. The school is full. Build a mosque and put Masjid Abu Bakr, the mosque will be full. But even if you say Masjid Rasul Akram, it is possible you get somebody to question you. Masjid Rasul Akram. You get people to question you, why do you have to put Prophet's name on the mosque? Why? Meanwhile, when you put Osmania, Abu Bakaria, or whatever, Umaria or whatever, they will come. How can you tell me that Prophet Muhammad was sitting with a group of people and then Shaitan was walking around? When they saw Umar, the Shaitan ran away? How? Shaitan was not afraid of Prophet Muhammad. He saw Umar and said, tell him, make her go. Miami, where they come. And yet, you want to tell the whole world that Huwa Rahmatan lil Alameen. He's the best of all the prophets in the whole world. So, and every other day, we are going to mourn Imam Hussein and share the messages and the legacies left behind. One will ask, why are we not Imam Hassan? Why are you not mourning for Imam Ali? Why are you not? But we are mourning for Imam Hussein. Yes. We can pray all day, but Allah has selected one day for us to pray Jummah. We can pray all day, but Allah has selected one day for us to pray Eid. So ask, why is it that we are going to pray Eid on this day? It doesn't make sense. Number two, we are mourning Imam Hussein because we want to keep his legacy alive. And one of the ways of mourning Imam Hussein is that when it so happens, we beat our hands on our chest. We hit our hands. That is what some people call it letmiyat. or latam or mat'am. And that kind of mourning is a form of mourning that was done not only at our time here, but when Prophet Muhammad passed away, in the narrations, Sayyidah Aisha slapped her face upon hearing that Prophet Muhammad had died. So she also hit her body as a form of mourning. When a message was delivered to Nabiullah Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, that his wife at the age of 70 was going to give birth, the wife hit her body, her face, and slapped her body that how can somebody like me give birth? So hitting ourselves as a form of mourning is not haram. And in Islamic jurisprudence there is a rule, kulli shay'in halal hatta ta'lam hukm Allah fihi. Anything halal, you see otherwise. And there is nothing in the hadith and the Quran that you hit yourself, it is haram. So we, the Shias, mourn Imam Hussein and we hit our chest because the chest that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to kiss, the boy that the Prophet will put on his shoulder, even when the Prophet is praying and Imam Hussein was sitting at his back, he would delay the salat until this boy stands up. He's the one that Prophet Muhammad said, Hussein minni wa ana min Hussein. It is that same Hussein that when he was massacred, when he was brutalized, when they put spears in his body, he fell down and his body was not touching the ground.
لبيك يا حسين
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 لبيك يا حسين. When you are in the hospital, when you are in your house and you see your father dying, you see your mother dying, but you are standing, you cannot do anything to help the person, how will you feel? When Allah says, وَنَحْنُ أَقْرَبُ إِلَيْهِ مِنْكُمْ وَلَكِنْ لَا تُبْصِرُونَ, we are those that are closer to the dead body, but you cannot see. We are the one that is closer, but you cannot witness and feel us. The person is leaving the world. And look at how he's suffering. And the chest that we are beating is to remember that that day somebody used his leg to stample on the chest of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu wassalam. La'natullahi ala. And after stepping on his chest, they slaughtered Imam Hussein's head and dissected his body. The one who brought the religion within which you and I live in. You want to tell us that on that day we should be happy. On that day we should celebrate. On that day we should fast. Just because the Jewish Israelites, they were fasting at the time of Prophet Muhammad. Meanwhile, you come back to tell me that I do this, I shouldn't do that, because man tashabbaha biqawmin fahuwa minhum. Anybody who want to practice the lifestyle of a group of people, he is part of them. And so we shouldn't learn from other people. And you want to tell me that Prophet from the Israelites and the Jews, so he fasted on the 10th of Muharram. Imam Hussein has done a lot for the Muslim community. Whether you like it or not, we are going to make noise and let the whole world hear. This is what Imam Hussein stood for. And if you kill us today, tomorrow our numbers will increase. How many people were at the Battle of Karbala? How many people were there? When Abbas was going to get water for the children of Imam Hussein and he was massacred, he was cut open and blood was oozing out. He didn't even get the opportunity to say goodbye to his family, just to go and get water. Man saka mu'minan min al-atashi sakahu Allah yawm al-qiyamah min riyad al-mahtum. Anybody who gives water to his fellow Muslim to drink, Almighty Allah will give him water on the day of judgment. Because that water that you don't value was just a drop of water that Imam Hussein wanted on his fingertips, just to drop it on the tongue of the little baby. And they were shouting, Al-Atash, Al-Atash. We are thirsty, oh, we are thirsty, Daddy, we are thirsty. We are thirsty, Daddy, we are thirsty. We want water, Daddy, we are thirsty. And there is no water anywhere. هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
لبيك يا حسين لبيك يا حسين
لبيك يا حسين أنا شهيد كربلاء إمام حسين إمام حسين شهيد كربلاء je suis pas donc non ma Imam Hussein Imam Hussein Bismillah شهيد كربلاء يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين أنشي يا مناصرك يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين أنشي يا مناصرك يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين أنشي مناصرك يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين يا حسين أنشي مناصرك يا الله da sunanka nake farawa kuma Allah da sunanka nake karewa taimake ni ya Allah ubangijin kowa ai zance kashe Imam Hussein ya Hussein ya Hussein ya Hussein ya Hussein shi munasaka dubun salati ala khairul anbiya Ahlulbayt Mustafa nabiya soyayya su cikin gidan zuciya karka kashe moshe cikin sosai ne ya Hussein ya Hussein ya Hussein ya Hussein shi munasonka ya jama'a shin kun fasa Hussein kun yi tunani ko ma shi wane ne ba ku gane ko ma shi wane ne shi jika ne na saidal kyaunai ne ya Hussein ya Hussein ya Hussein ya Hussein ya Hussein shi munasonka Fatimatu Zahra ita ce fa'uwarsa Sayyidina Ali shine fa'ubansa ko kun gane ko waye kakansa Muhammadu mai Qur'ani ya Hussein ya Hussein ya Hussein ya Hussein shi munasonka wake da uwa tamkarire uwarsa wake da uba tamkarire ubansa wake da uwa tamkarire uwarsa wake da uba tamkarire ubansa kuma kakan ko kakan wane ne shi ba za ya kai kakar Imam Hussein ya Hussein ya Hussein ya Hussein ya Hussein shi munasonka ina gidan mai asali irin gidansu ina gidan albarka irin gidansu ina gidan mai asali irin gidansu ina gidan albarka irin gidansu harfa ibada farilla ne a bisu in an kauce wa Husaini ya Husain ya Husain ya Husain ya Husain sonka ina jidan mai asali irin jidan so ina jidan albarka irin jidan so harfa ibada farilla ne abiso an kauce wa Husaini ya Husaini ya Husaini ya Husaini ya Husaini dan shi amuna so sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad
Muhammad te paɣaya nduma naawuni zaligu nyɛli ti mi niŋ zuɣusoŋ ka to participate har n-ti paagi zuŋo dabisili ŋo maa yɛlimaali shɛli din do polo nyɛla ti kpaŋ ti man baŋ maadama annabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam baŋsirti inni taarikum fikum sakalain kitab Allah wa itrati ahla bayti ma in tamassaktum bihima lan tadillu min ba'di abada annabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam wa ma yantiqu anil hawa in huwa illa wahyun yuha maadama wa yɛlti lalama di simsi ka ti baŋ ni kama ŋun kam doli Qur'ani ni Ahlulbayt Islamul asil maa m-bala maa dini n-nyɛ yɛlimaali shɛli din bɛni aka soli ka a yɛli na a birim ya nyimbo baŋ din ka a yɛn doli ayi maadama o baŋsa lala ini adatin ka a yɛn doli ka di mali problem min baŋ maa di zuɣu ka di simsimi ka niri baŋ clearly ka niri kuli baŋli clearly cewa annabi ni o yiŋnim maa bu kandi maa na program n-nyɛli a che ban yɛtɔɣa ka chaŋ ti doli shɛba yɛtɔɣa program maa a yila dini maa shɛli ka a niŋdi dabam o understanding li ni divine program n-nyɛli divine program annabi ni o yiŋnima ya kan yɛliya yɛtɔɣa ŋmaa ŋɔ ka ti dira niŋmi ka baŋdiba ban niŋdi research zaŋ dalim duniya controlable ban yan su ka gbubi duniya fukumsi zaa ka bi ʒini n analyze ka nya kamam Americans nim yuuni mini kamam ban yan rule duniya ma n rule le ban ni bɔri shɛm n control duniya ka Russians ka bi yɛli ni ayi tinin lee nyɛ ban yan rule duniya ma ka control ka France ka bi gba yɛli ni ayi ni ban lee yan rule le ka Britain ka bi gba yɛli ni bana China nima ni bana ka bi zaa yuuni mini kamam bi nin tiɣila ban ni mali ideology shɛŋa maa royal kauniya shɛli ban ni mali maa kaunu ŋɔ duniya maa ban ni yuuni shɛli ka mali fikira shɛli zaŋ dalinli din ka bi yan zaŋ control duniya therefore ban fikira maa ni bi ra'ayi maa din nyɛ din yan rule duniya ka bi zaaha ma bi waligiya ka bi zaa saɣi ti yɛtɔɣa yini ni bi zaa yi ni yuuni maa American nim yi yuuna ni bi nyɛri ka so tooi nyɛ obstacle mɔŋda n ʒe bi tooni shee zaa yini ko din nyɛ musulinsi ka Britain niŋ gba yuli bi nyɛri bi tabi maa ka bi nyɛ problem tiba domin bin tooi solve bala ka bi yuuna naam ma bi mɔŋdi zaa gaŋ ban ni nyɛri nyɛla Islam ka France nim nyɛra the same thing Islam China Islam bi zaa yino kam yuuni la Islam din nyɛ the only obstacle din yɛn tooi mɔŋ ma bihi ka bi zaa naan pii kpamba ni bi ʒim nyɛ kaman to ti zaa saɣaya ti dim nyɛla zaa gaŋ din nyɛ Islam maa din yɛn mɔŋ ti din yɛn mɔŋya din yɛn mɔŋ o yɛla ti nim bi nyɛri ka duniya maa so ni tooi control shɛli shɛ maa nyɛ problem so ka bi yihi kpamba n ʒini bi stadium li nyɛya Islam maa bun biɛni maa ma gba pumpumi biɛni so they want to see Muslims ma banim le nye problem ka ni to wurumba aw kana te ko wahabiyanci ma an yullen stedele kanya kama ai kai bambongo do ambana bokuto ku bukata dome boka governance kama ayan to wala ka ngub tengbanisham boka bangsam so har di kelete ba bayan goble me kenan ti ba tabon kunku taba dome abu degen ra'ayi da simsila kan nan jihadin kuwa agbabu degen ra'ayi kan kuwa ka agba yel nan bu dega ka kuma ka umbon ku bayan kunku la tabanti nage so duniya ma mamman ne zasaba so ban ku to gbob duniya so kar yel islam ma mbala ka bu yulda adasai ban yel ne ban bela sufiya sol zo ka stede de ba ashil mang le kan yer yaw ka bu ba stede ba kaya ne ban bon bana ban yala nan fu shabya bu ba ka gwamnati talpuni bu ba ka ne bu rule duniya bandem muxba nyala yelto agang ka bu to jine nan de ba askare de zo hara fat bin shakamza katiba sole ne bu nan bu ibada de naya ban ba ka ne so ban bu computer ne bu rule ban fikra ni nyashal balama bu ka za ne governance. So therefore, any idea of governance, then kabu program puni. O program ni yeshel kabu kulnang de askare. Har ula ka bob hagma. Nyinde itibas katunya songsem tiba kabu nang de nama. Kabiya ne to de gulayim Shia. Kabu kana te vile kaya we kyon wanye Muslim sima bambonye danger ma because bo mal governance bon to rule. Katom mal hope karle yala yibiye akida swal zo bon to rule dunia ma one anya bom be shamma bom bone shele bon to sacrifice bin shakam and defendable adinama dezo bamal bom bone shele Imam Hussein la laf Imam Hussein matay don ma de nyala furla kiene kama annabi ni yarya إن لقتل ولدي حسين حرارة في قلوب المؤمنين لن تبرد أبدا ني النبي يرى ودبل حسين كبمو دنيا تلوم شله دين بمؤمن سهرني لا تلوم ما دبل دم مارا كل مالورا سو كابني كمان لا سبريت ما يبين نرني إمام حسين جمع يوالنجن نرا obu zor kibu obu zor shale nermi yibu zor shale kayan tuho wa anasara nyabni to pam to nyin nang de me na to kuo ka to biane to ngunguna nyama o kuwa nasara nyala akuo zable ma puni nasara nyala zamtu wala ka tuhro mbong. The second point nyala ka bo mal hope deninye Imam Mahdi bammal la fikra of nguyan kana to save dunya ma zakha al muntazir al mahdi ajala Allah ta'ala farajahu sharif kabu malle Allahumma salli ala Muhammad so bu mal hope bunning da bu mal hope kamin kaman wa ta mal nasara no matter what bu mal hope so lalan woman ye spiritual dinke ka muslims ma kenan bambon mi malle so bu danger zaha ban ne to nye muslims shela din yan to di dunya ka rulel ma nyala shi anam na gbob shel ma din nyale so that is why at times bu kule nyala yel malama har bu di shi anam zo alan ka binya bu yan yalla anya ka da biya ma we bambon nam ma yel mala bu diba zo alan amma bambon ban yi to kulnya nasara to tenen lahkane. So kare go your on. Harban pa Muslim mi the real Islam. Zo yulmi a dunya ma ni ruler sham. Banim palem ye banim fu shaba bantir Muslim hope. De pa Shia. Palestinians ne kiambon kurba kaltir bazo alensingo. Bu pala Shia. Amma ka Shia anem dunya nyanga zo banen yinan to defender ba ka supporter ba ka fighter for them. Den kam nang de ma Shia na. Ban ye bu mabihi sunna bonya bu mabiza bonnan la ngoje yunuba kad bela diamane ba kana ay to kiyele de namma ne bu kelle ne bu zangal bin shakam zati yahuda nan ma kashin de saya kata kahambala ashiyan yel no amma bi musulmi har wula nyele talaka yan defendo amal ya ka digi ya o jilmaji. That is it. So te bang man kama adin ma na wun program nyele karbiane dizo ko yi annabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam 23 years ko presenter adin ma bayan 23 years ma ko to zan lalawo because al umma na ba understand program ma vielenga so karezel a imma 12 so ringman la zambi kyan shukuru ka classroom 12 biane o start P1 P2 P3 woti ampa 12 class 12 la o biya o lege professor so lele program ndoya ka dambe mi zaksen redwalle diri en dwal kama Imam Ali annab Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ne boshel nuni ko riem presentele the problem dia nyala deni muslim nim dia nya well power de ka doubt de puni bangsan puni musulma ya puni musulma arziki musulma nyam nduma na wonni zan dunya arziki gboble muslim sitin se sham amma nyama ka azwalim nam falde ka dangle in kerna won talen yel malama ni shel nyala ka te pangtem manga nsaranda ka min kama wallahi akala lahira bobna zanga zanan naman to make sure that I achieve aba kan wula ka ban nan wule pi din nan wule nan wula nyum bang ma dini go adini nan more important o mate biye ke ka min zala nyala war le ko kinna ga ko lebo za fala do bu ko enzo me kantan daba la ka tumo yala ka kana te garto yingma kanyo iyale kanyo bumbo na kar nan alaji o zala nda nyama wara nyala kaza zungo wo pa bin shaw to dinya nirbu ma zo ko nan da wabiane ka boka bne to nan to so musulma kantin yel shamoma de semsume na zang le envi ka vinya imam Hussein ki ka diya sheltin yarngo dizan su yurlem kama mangeleme ka je awahala dishire nyala ka annabi bangsa dinyal janna ka bora kar yarani kama annabi yansu dete imam Ali yantata aljanna ma de anyala pa dunya ni lakira pa ton dana dunya na aljanna pa ton dan yala sayda Fatima ami nyala na chimbla nyambang ma imam Hassan imam Hussein banin aljanna ton dan ma rembo kon ko bisa na nan hankal bang bu dolbu dinyala sol kulsira aljanna bu dolbu kulsira la aljanna. So we need to be very careful. Can make sure that look ka focus kunyala bu rida ka bora bu yadda ka bu ayan nan shamzahan achieve goal kake duniya yuham wama za de ku kulsir shale useless nyale dezo abora nyin pamma any line din yi kake Ahlulbayt di kul koklen ken atiya nyala za gbaram nyale atiya nyeme kamande ka dalambo the end result de kadalambo karambo kadalambo do polo no Qur'ana ayanum bien clearly ka hadisi do clearly de kabiham ka nabiyal ne te dol Qur'ana ma no yangnama yet kan ne rebo zang le karman kama je shabni yar yirim zo ka je doubtira botiel ni shi ambon karmala problem awahala bego nyun ku yel ne te bien nyala kafirna ma katle kafirna ma ami ku yel ne te ke bugum ne kat ker bugum ne ezo so kam vihma vielenga ka understana akida vielenga azokson ni nyeshal mbalama bihe the climax ne ka te pama biani nye final day te dal kole 10 days ma biani karnara ma bihe final day ma nyala biani ngum to nyankana umpunkan no kana ngum to nyankana biani ma nye final. The sense ka so kamza sacrifice o manga amina pabana bihi abin sha kamza vambana inti register wo annablo yin nam kama ya amal imam Hussein kule This is very important. Mabin to yer yetwango. Ami an lahanya Muharram yaha. Aka guarantee. Detinyala last Muharram ka anang duma. Te surun duma na woni no ke karnyati last Muharram. Barin le yer medinyan tienira. Detinyala a last Muharram bala. Ka ati vaga temia ken ngokati jete mabi Salahuddin. Ko toxiye to about Imam Hussein tizaha kanin tamyirte ninni. Muharram bala na te pagu. Di register me o chambani an Diego buyan no la maraba ka wo nu kayal ne atuya aminin successful domi on di register won o contribution nanya imagine bankinki ka participate wala ka biyan yale da na sanin yan palam and you don't need to pay anything. Sacrifice me ki yina to show it presence to annab no yang nama mak bian ma karnage anduma na woni wa pahante annab no yang nam yurla Allahumma bi haqqi Fatima wa abiha wa ba'liha wa baniha wa sirr al mustawda' fiha Allahumma la tufarriq bainana wa bain habibika mustafaka sayyidina Muhammadin wa ali baytihi tarfat 'aynan abadan fi dunya wal akhirah. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. لبيك يا حسين 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 لبيك يا حسين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Bariya kare. La ilaha illallah. Bari su yi mana kanana. Bariya. Lalla bariya kare. Bariya kare.